So, I think there's another important thing to recognize within this whole Roman imperial influence, fascio imperial influence, which can be source coded to this, um, and all the rape, all the genocide, all the talk of nationalism, patriarchal society. Um, okay, another thing. It's important. So I'm watching the movie Noah with the Russell Crowe. Uh, so I understand I got criticism, but criticism again. I can totally see why. I don't even have to. You don't have to be a Christian to see how fucked up they mutilated that story. Some people say again that's a Gnostic, not agnostic, but Gnostic version of Noah. But either way, the other thing that you see that this perpetuates, and what people don't understand, I think, about the movie Noah, is that they call him a Gnostic. They say they turn him into a madman. He's crazy. Look, that wasn't him. But what the person did that made the movie is they did a collage of archetypal figures within the Torah, I believe. Because if I'm not mistaken, that was a Christians were not happy with that movie at all. That's another problem Israeli has. You think having that kind of Jews having an expanded view of the Bible is positive. That's demonic antichrist to American and European Christians. Hispanics like that shit, probably Africans, but European Christians, to them, that's a antichrist trigger. Um, and they'll pick an Israeli Jew antichrist over the Bush family any day to see how this works, to show you how imperialism works. After the mass scale of corruption and murder and massacre and pure utter destruction of American lives, white Americans will never treat the Bush family the way they're going to treat the Jews this century. Again, because every century this triggers genocidal campaigns of epic scale that has ended up celebrating, or what they call recalled, in history by the Roman imperial elite to be a very tragic event, documented down to the T, so as that it can never happen again. But statistically speaking, it turns out to be essentially a collective chronological manual on political obstacles that could hinder, dampen, or halt all such operations. Um, but as such, there's a reason though, because the reason that murder element, this is where the murder element of the Bible thrives. This is the spatial element, patriarchal. So in the movie Noah, Noah gets this vision that he's got to potentially kill the baby of this chick that gets pregnant because she was barren, and his dad, that's a witch doctor, gives her the ability to, who's an ancient shaman supposedly, gives her the ability to have kids because she was stabbed in the stomach or some shit, and she gets pregnant. And then Noah's like in the movies like, oh well, if it's a boy, he can live and become the last man. This is all deep shit here. And if it's a girl, we'll kill it if it's gonna be the mother. And again, this is a consolidation of the value system in the Bible. The people of the Bible will denounce it as, oh, he's crazy, because they see the characteristics of their heroes from the Bible wrapped up in one. And it is crazy. It's disgusting. It's viciously, horrifically sick. This is full of disgusting, sick, horrific, criminal, sadistic, sociopathic, fucking behavioral qualities that are celebrated because they're associated with an imaginary figure named God. Which not even, despite how crazy I am with all the conclusions I come to, Fascio-Imperial Roman ancient computer program that's able to penetrate the brain and control people's behavior and manipulate them to torture their own children. Okay? I understand. I'm off the fucking wall. You people believe there's an imaginary figure telling you it's okay to kill people and make your children suffer. What the fuck? So anyways, part of the craziness of these key figures of war, this is the murder element. It goes with Abraham. And this is where they mixed Noah with Abraham. Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son, I think it was Israel. I'm pretty sure it was Israel or Joshua or some shit like that. I could open it up. I don't give a fuck. The name is irrelevant. So Abraham's gonna sacrifice his son, and he doesn't tell him or Sarah because he's got this thing in his head that tells him, you're gonna sacrifice. I want you to sacrifice your son to prove to me. So this is what the good people, the good fascio imperialists believe, convince themselves is a behavioral pattern that is proper for human interaction based on the current conditions as expressed in here. Oh, everybody's bad. Imperial Rome. Everybody's a subject. Everybody's sinful. Everybody wants to what? The devil's trying to take the power away from God. God is Roma. Roma is amor. Amor is love. Oh, so wait. The poor fifth world peasants that we rape and massacre, they're going to want to take the power? Oh, Romans 10. You must obey the government. The government's there to love you because God put them there. Even if the government's bad, you should never do anything like Jesus and speak against the government. You should always serve the government. You should never resist war. You should always serve the government. You should never slaughter or kill. You should never slaughter or kill. But you will be slaughtered and killed. See how this shit works? So, now the phobia that's instilled in this is the notion that because God is in empire, because Roma is in control, the paranoia comes, the patriot part. Oh my God, we gotta go kill them Muslims. We gotta go massacre them Iraqis. Take this into consideration. I'm gonna prove to you how fucking disgusting you are as Americans. Based on your ability as brainwashed from your parents and as you brainwashed your children today, where you sit and cite the Germans as a horrific military filth episode in human history because they killed 6 million Jews. Yes, you guys don't care about the 27 million Russians. That's good. So we'll just deal with the 500,000 gypsies. You don't give a fuck about them either. But the Roma gypsies have a message behind in their name that we don't understand about where Rome got its name. So, or why Rome absorbed the name Roma. Okay? Just like the why Christians absorbed the name Christian. You guys think that Christian is some kind of biblical term? Christian is an ancient word that comes out of Central America, and as far as I know, it has to do with like today. It's a modern legacy. People don't understand. This kind of shit is written in human DNA, and this is why trauma and rape is so essential. Part of the Bible, the Torah, Quran, and 72 virgin, all that virgin birth, all that good stuff. They love to fucking rape children. So, oh no, we don't. We trying to protect children. Well, then go kill the Vatican. It's not that hard. You killed, again, now back to this point. America will sit there and talk mad shit about the pagan, fascist, left-wing Nazis. That's how insanely, disgustedly brainwashed. This is not, oh, I'm miseducated. No, you frickin' idiot. Well, history has a lot of different sides. No, you frickin' idiot.
Well, that's just because you think it's that way doesn't mean I believe something different.
You see how this fascist bullshit works? First of all, they loosely associate the Nazi Party with the left because of the National Socialist Party name, and they see the word socialist. And as a 6-year-old mentality, this is what it called a trauma. Again, it's not a disrespect. It is how the system is maintained based on the constant trauma that keeps you in a 6-year-old psychological state of being. As an adult, you can function and access the experience with which you have been through and with which you're engaged to gain advantages. But the very notion that I'm learning to gain advantages is the 6th grade 6-year-old mentality in one sense. Not to say 6-year-olds are bad, but it's not bad. That's the whole thing. You end up getting past that, and the next thing, like in Buddhism, learning and realization. Then the first realization you get is, oh wait, I didn't realize any of this shit I was taught at all. I can learn myself. But no, you never get to that point because Fascio-Imperial Roman is powerful. But so with the Jews and Hitler, they're a right wing, plus the left wing is fascist too, because it is the Roman Empire. Just like democracy, monarchy, oligarchy, tyranny, or democracy. So basically, Iran is a democracy. England is a monarchy. So is Qatar. So is Saudi Arabia. I think so is Norway. I think Sweden might still have one, and they're all related. And all the elite families are related. The surviving families that weren't murdered by the core family, which is the Swiss and the English royal family. All the Russian families, the French royal families, they were all related to them and had land rights in the family's name that are now dead, and their assets have been absorbed onto the books of the remaining survivors, who now dominate the world through the shadow government called America and its imperial conquest, which, come to my point, because of this book right here, the American people of this generation massacred without any concern under Bush, and there's no Jew to blame here, over, and this is nice, 1 to 2 million, and that was in the beginning, and with all the horror, I mean, we fucking left radioactive debris there by the ton. That is hardcore, off the fucking chain, disgusting beyond Nazi fucking craziness. No, we didn't put them in concentration camps. We just shot them. We just sent the snipers out there, and they put a little piece of material or bread. They said it was a mechanical box. Yeah. They put food out. American snipers put food out so that people would instantaneously go to grab something and snipe their ass for the sole purpose of having a kill list. Civilians. The rape campaigns. They don't want to rape dirty Iraqi women. Okay, then they rape dirty, cleaner Iraqi little boys. Again, man, remember, in the military, if the military troops, according to the own Department of Defense and Pentagon reports, have a problem where there's 26,000 reported sexual assaults within the confines of the social order designed by the generals to sustain military supremacy and capacity, not just weapons, but the mental capacity to do whatever the fuck the generals say without any question against anyone. Under that condition, 26,000 rapes happen every year, troop on troop. That's just the rapes, that's not the murders. I think there's like over 100 troop on troop murders, and there's about 300,000 active duty troops, between 300,000 and 400,000. So 80% of those are male victims. So if you have this hardcore, even if you say, oh, it's just a little bit, it's only 26,000 individual people. So most of you will notice that the 26,000 rape cases are not 26,000 different perpetrators. It doesn't take a 6-year-old to realize that the serial rapist haven is, if a serial rapist wants to get successful, like a tranny in one sense got to be a telemarketer because no one wants to see him. A serial rapist needs to be in the military because no one will, they want to see you actually. Like in those Air Force cops that were making the Air Force, top elite Air Force, multiple, year after year, they would statistically pick as if an invitation, not revealing the true intent. And they would invite fellow female officers of similar rank to show you how vicious and malicious and heartless and confident they were. It was a ritual. And year after year, they would pick 2 of these colleagues. And while they were up in right here in by Ventura County, again, which the Air Force Base, which is responsible for the Santa Susana Field Laboratory, and is still hiding behind the guise of GE corporations, but it's a military Santa Susana Field Laboratory experiment on human beings. But they would make them, I think it's Point Wainimi, they would make them, Point Magoo, or the women, they would strip them. Now, imagine this wonderful practice, women. These are the men that you go to church with, or the men that you go to church with, look up to, or you live with. They would strip the women down, and there would be over 30 to 50, even more men that would line the sides of the hallway and force the women by prodding them and catcalling them and pushing them and groping them and poking them to make what they call the walk of shame. And that's what they call it. So this is all that fascio biblical shit that comes out of the... So in that context, American modern society has killed off at least 2 million, and ongoing, it's still going because of the pollution, and it will go on, Iraqis. But now this is where I identified this social construct that's in the fascio Romanesque piece of literature that is known as the Bible or the Torah or the Quran. In the movie, and I know this is the movie, come on, work with me here, people. In the Abraham, who gives a fuck? In the Jews' genocide of the land of Canaan, which are black people. That's telling you white people kill black people. Oh no, that's not what it's saying, because Jews are black. Look closely, people. Look how they treat black people in Israel too. Look how they treat their brother Africans. So they let them join the military because they don't have enough troops to fuck with the Arabs, their brother Semites. So what do? Get Africans to join, offer them citizenship, and then give them straight up, without any shame, second-hand citizenship, even below women, which is third citizenship, because women are second. They don't get housing rights. And the scale of poverty, this is also going to be used against Israel. The scale of poverty is off the fucking chain in Israel. And meanwhile, the West, through America, are giving $300 billion a year. So when the elite anti-Semitic forces come back for their next round of genocide, they're going to say, oh, look, they gave the Jews a chance to take care of their own people. They even treat their own people like this. I got a landlord who's Jewish. When I was working out the deals with the apartment, he's like, well, I don't know if I can give you this one because it'd be locked up in legal technicalities on the 3rd floor of a 3-story building. I said, all right, well, the ones beneath me, I mean, I guess just throw the deposit on there for the meantime. He's like, oh, he literally went like this. Oh, that's a little bit more expensive. I was like, it is, but it's below me. He's like, yeah, it gets more expensive as you get closer to the ground. He's Jewish. See, what he's saying is based on his observation from the Bible, his training, what he has learned to be a good Jew is to be a good business person. Because this is where that paranoia comes in. Because if you're not making money, exploiting, like God exploits every situation, then you're losing control. And the Bible's whole point of creating or manufacturing the concept of a God is to create the need, the psychological child, or to sustain the childish need that you need somebody in control. Because you don't have the capacity to do it. And as such, this is where you get Chavez, or Chavez from Les Miserables. 3, 2, 4, 6, 0, 1. My name is Jean Valjean, and I am Chavez. Do not forget my name. Do not forget my name. 2, 4, 6, 0, 1. So Chavez, when he talks about the Guardians, or because he uses the term Guardians, if you look at the cartoon from DreamWorks, The Rise of the Guardians, which has Albert Pike as Santa Claus, and his doctrine even expressed that Albert Pike was saying you have to find your Santa, because Santa Claus is telling Jack Frost, who's essentially the new fascio citizen. It is that now we're not at a war anymore, guys. We're just having fun. So it's like it's supposed to be like some kind of new. It goes with America's transition. I know it's not timing wise, but just symbolically, the transition from INS to ICE, which I say is a Gestapo hardcore evidence of the fascist intent behind these group of white men who dress up in costumes so that they can hunt Mexicans. No connection there, and they get state funding to do it. And in fact, Obama said, if you don't capture at least 400 of them fucking spics every year, we're going to take your money away. And what do you know? The wonderful white men in costume with guns and a declaration to go hunt down Mexicans and Latinos haven't failed yet. So, but part of the justification for murder in all cases, like when God tells the Jews to go murder everybody, or God tells to kill fucking whatever this guy's kid is, or God tells Noah he's going to kill everybody, or God tells Lot, I'm going to bless your kids who you had from fucking for $2 and getting them pregnant. Oh, hey, don't do that to Lot. He didn't do it, his daughter did it to him. That's not fair. Yeah, he fucked his daughter, got them pregnant. Later on, God says, I promised this land to the children of Lot. Maybe that's a biblical translation. Maybe that's not in the Torah. Yeah, right. So, within that is this notion that if God's control is threatened, and remember, God is empire, God is Roma. So if the imperial influence or domination is threatened, all hands off, fuck the 10 Commandments. It is no longer murder. This is the power of the message. As the nation state so created in the imperial manual, I'm in the kitchen, that's in the living room. Patriotism is effectively a religion. You don't have to read you won't, but you have to read Titus's History of Rome, at least the introduction and the first 10 books, which are not really books, they're kind of like chapters, to understand the relationship between the Bible and Rome. That's when you start to see that everything in the Bible is actually a reconstruction of Roman mythology. From Moses being in the basket, which is drawn from Remus being thrown in the basket, also being born into the house of a king, Moses being born as the Pharaoh, the virgin birth, immaculate conception, which is not completely believed in the Roman Empire. The elites did not believe it. The elites believed that there was some kind of other act that was doing. There's always something behind it, behind the story. So in the Roman times, by the time Livius Titus was writing this, the elites have come to the conclusion that the Roman myth of the virgin birth of the twins was actually a cover-up of some kind of sexual escapade from the mom, which they felt gave them insight. So what you would take that, when they're rewriting this shit, then they're writing the little girl Mary being a tween, just like Hagar being a tween, just like Lot's daughters being a tween, just like the age of consent in America at the founding fathers up into the 1880s being 10 years old, that a man can marry and rape a little girl legally. And in fact, she would have to obey him by law under the force of the founding fathers, or else she would be subject to any consequence that he was allowed to subject to her, so that she would submit and fucking let him put his dick up in her fucking little cooch and rip that shit to shreds and call it God's love. So, within that context, the Romans are insinuating throughout. This is attacking the child. And people don't know. Mary's 16, Mary's 18, Mary's 21. You always get more mature. Pretty soon she's gonna be fucking 45, and that's gonna be she's gonna turn her into Sarah again. Like, she was so old, she had a baby. It was like Joseph had sex with her. Whatever they can do to adjust and cope with the horrible conditions of the Bible. But as such, if God's losing control, God doesn't have Canaan, but you want the Jews to have it. Oh my gosh, what do we gotta do? I guess we gotta kill people. God wants people to act a certain way, and Sodom and Gomorrah, they're not acting the same way. What do we gotta do? I guess we gotta kill people. These people do not act the same as us, and they have different belief systems, and essentially we gotta help them. Vietnam, Iraq, Panama, Grenada, Afghanistan, Korea. Well, Korea actually, I'll buy that one. Not in the sense of the war, the way we fight. But so the point is, that is how the American, the Western European Christian can still celebrate the troops that fought in Iraq, because it's the Roman 10. They're part of the government. As a government, they must all be worshipped at all times, regardless of any activity carried out. I ain't gonna pay my taxes. What about those people? No. They're not gonna pay their taxes because they don't think the government is doing what they want it to do. But they're not hurting the government. Taxes are not what makes a government. How you raise your kid. The way those people are raising their kid is because they're teaching they're becoming a mini government. That's the Stockholm syndrome. I'm just as big as you. This is projecting your shadow. Therefore, I don't need you. I'm gonna raise my family the way I want to raise my family. And that kid lives in a fucked up living hell, because the entire focus of the parent is the over-authoritization of the government, and they see the government as a competing authority figure to their authority, but their obsession with authority is the imperial construct come from this. Oh, but I wasn't raised Christian. I forgot the example that I had about from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to System of a Down to rappers to pop artists. The use of symbols from the Bible are another method of sustaining its influence. So it's hard to say, because this is one of the things, the most important thing, I think, my point, because I'm gonna close up here. So my point is this. So when my landlord says, oh, that's a little bit more expensive. Okay, maybe I'm a little exaggerating. Okay, I'll try to do it right. Oh, you could just put the money on the bottom one. Oh, that's a little bit more expensive. Oh, the bottom one? Oh, I thought, I would think this one would be more. He's like, no, as you get closer to the ground, that's a little bit more expensive. What the psychological process, people say, oh, he's just a Jew, or he's just a sinful person. To see the Bible's right. No. The psychological process that it takes for him to sustain his life under those conditions with his wife and whatever kids he has. That was a wonderful character too. Is derived from the Bible. He does not know it. He thinks that he can read it and make a choice over what you pick. No. You don't even have to read it. It is a behavioral construct that you absorb in ways that you don't understand, but you still manifest. And you can see by the world today, and again, look at the American or the Christian's view of the whoever, pick any, is the Iraqi, fucking Afghanistan, whatever. Motherfucking poor people that didn't do shit, can't do shit, can't even fucking live, can't even fucking feed their kids, can't even fucking have a family, can't even make a home. Versus the Bush family running for president again and the utter destruction of the legacy. That is the truth of the Bible, and that is the truth of Roman imperialism as it is constructed in the Bible. Because no Jew or fucking Christian, based on biblical principles, will ever say, hey, you know what? The Bush family